Yeah, 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 yeah. Drive through the hills where the road bends slow. Green so thick but the silence grow. Big house stand with no lights inside. Windows missing, dreams left behind. Still reach sky like it calling God. Rebar rust where the future paused. Stairs go up but no footsteps stay. Rooms imagined but never a day. Them say success must look like this. Tall walls gets one final kiss. But concrete's heavy when hope run dry. And the house still asking why. These walls know the plans we made. Every block from a night shift paid. Every pound, every dollar cent was a prayer I folded in cement. Dreams in concrete.
Welcome to the Learning Journey. I'm Dr. Rohan Jawara. On this channel, we explore Jamaican history, culture, technology, and the hard questions that shape our future. Not hype, not fear, just critical thinking. So before we go any further, subscribe to the channel because these are the conversations we need to be having. Not later, but now. You know, if you ever drive through the rolling hills of rural Jamaica, you'll notice something strange tucked into all that lush greenery. Huge concrete mansions, sprawling structures, multi-level homes perched on hillsides, overlooking valleys and roads that wind through the countryside. But here's the thing, so many of them are silent, unfinished, abandoned. You'll see rusted rebar sticking out of concrete slabs, reaching into the sky like skeletal fingers, walls without windows, staircases that lead nowhere, rooms that were imagined but never lived in. They feel like frozen dreams, dreams poured into cement, left to harden without ever becoming real, empty palaces scattered across the Jamaican landscape. And once you start noticing them, you can't unsee them. So the question becomes unavoidable. What in the world is really going on here? Why are so many dream homes in Jamaica left unfinished or completely abandoned? Because this is not a simple story about construction projects that went wrong. This isn't just about bad planning, poor budgeting, or builders who didn't finish the job. This is a deep, complex story tied to history, culture, economics, and yes, crime. And if you understand this story, you understand something essential about modern Jamaica. To understand these empty houses, we have to go back, way back, because this story doesn't start with concrete, blocks, or blueprints. It starts with land, and more importantly, with who gets to own it and how. Jamaica's relationship with land has been complicated for centuries. In 1655, the English plantation system took control of the island. Land was concentrated into massive estates, owned by a small elite, worked by enslaved Africans who had no claim to the soil beneath their feet. For generations, land represented power, control, and survival, but never ownership for the majority. Then came 1838, emancipation. For the first time, formerly enslaved people could begin to acquire land. Out of this moment came free villages and a new class of small landholders. People pooled resources, bought plots together, and created communities rooted in mutual survival. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't easy, but it was something. For many families, that land became the first real symbol of freedom, a physical place that said we belong here. But then came a critical turning point that still shapes Jamaica today. In 1889, a formal legal land system was imposed on the island, one rooted in British property law. This system required clear titles, registered ownership, and individual names on deeds. And it directly clashed with the customs that had already developed on the ground. That clash never went away. Instead, it hardened into a permanent tension between how land was lived on and how land was legally defined. Out of this history emerged something uniquely Jamaican: family land. Family land was never about one person owning a piece of property. It was collective, informal, intergenerational. The land belonged to the family, not just the living, but those who came before and those yet to come. It was about security, community, belonging. Family land meant that no matter how difficult life became, you always had a place to return to, a place to build, a place to plant, a place to rest. But the formal legal system doesn't recognize that kind of ownership. Banks don't lend against family memory. They don't accept oral agreements. They don't work with land that belongs to everyone. They require registered titles, clear boundaries, one legal owner, and that creates an impossible situation. How do you get a mortgage on land that technically belongs to you and 20, 30, sometimes 40 relatives? You don't. This legal trap has a powerful name in Jamaica: dead left. Dead left describes property passed down without a will, frozen in legal limbo, sometimes for generations. No one person can make decisions. No one can legally sell. No one can borrow against it. You can't properly develop it. You can't use it as collateral. You can't unlock its value. So the land and any house built on it becomes stuck in time. Now fast forward to today. Enter the Jamaican diaspora. Men and women living abroad in London, Toronto, New York, Miami, working long hours, doing shift work, sacrificing time with their families, sending hard-earned money back home. And almost always, there's one dream at the center of it all. I'm going to build my house and come back. That house is more than shelter. It's proof of success, proof of sacrifice, proof that the struggle meant something. But here's the reality they're building into. Jamaica is urbanizing, and fast. More than 60% of the population now lives in cities. Rural communities are shrinking. Young people are leaving. Services are concentrated elsewhere. What's left behind in many rural areas is an aging population and a fragile local economy. So if banks won't lend on family land, how are these massive houses being built? There's only one way. Little by little, every spare dollar, every extra pound, every overtime shift abroad. 1 year the foundation gets laid. The next year a few walls go up. Years later maybe a roof. Construction moves in stages. Not because that's the plan, but because that's what's possible. It's dedication, it's sacrifice, it's love expressed through concrete. But it's also incredibly fragile. A recession hits overseas and remittances slow or stop. An informal agreement with a builder goes bad and the builder disappears with the funds. A distant cousin you've never met shows up, sites dead left, and halts construction instantly. And then there's a quieter heartbreak that rarely gets discussed. The children of the diaspora, born and raised abroad, often have no desire to live in rural Jamaica. Their lives, careers, and identities are rooted elsewhere. What was a lifelong dream for the parent becomes an unfinished obligation for the next generation. The house stands half-built, waiting for people who are never coming back. And many of these projects stall permanently. But now we reach the most chilling part of the story. Sometimes houses aren't abandoned because of money. Sometimes they're not abandoned because of land titles. Sometimes they're abandoned because of fear. Between 2012 and 2018, nearly 100 returning residents were murdered. Many were killed inside the very homes they spent decades building. Returning residents are often perceived as wealthy, as outsiders, as soft targets. They may not fully understand the local security risks or the changing realities on the ground. That statistic alone sent shockwaves through the diaspora community. And it's not just major crimes that drive fear. In many communities, almost half of residents report no streetlights. More than a quarter say they regularly hear gunshots. That constant sense of insecurity wears people down. Homes turn into fortresses. high walls, bars, security cameras, or they're abandoned entirely. And the threat isn't only violent crime. There's also predial larceny, the organized theft of crops and livestock, costing Jamaican farmers over $50 million every year. This isn't someone stealing a few mangoes. This is systematic organized theft that can wipe out a family's livelihood overnight. When farms collapse, people leave. When people leave, homes are abandoned. So when you step back and look at the full picture, the puzzle becomes clear. These empty mansions are not random. They are driven by three deep mismatches: the dream of coming home versus the reality of insecurity, the tradition of family land versus the demands of formal law, and a rural agrarian past versus an increasingly urban economic future. These forces are slowly hollowing out Jamaica's countryside. The government is trying. Land titling programs aim to transform dead left land into usable assets, something people can legally borrow against, develop, and pass on securely. But it's a massive task. It requires untangling centuries of history, culture, and legal contradiction. In the end, these unfinished houses are not just failed construction projects. They are cultural artifacts. They are monuments to ambition, to sacrifice, to the powerful dream of coming home. Dreams written in concrete and rebar across the Jamaican hills. And once you understand what they really represent, you'll never look at them the same way again.
Drive through the hills where the road bends slow. Green so thick but the silence grow. Big house stand with no lights inside. Windows missing, dreams left behind. Still reach sky like it calling God. Rebar rust where the future paused. Stairs go up but no footsteps stay. Rooms imagined but never a day. Them say success must look like this. Tall walls, gates, one final kiss. But concrete's heavy when hope run dry. And the house still asking why. These walls know the plans we made. Every block from a night shift paid. Every pound, every dollar cent was a prayer I folded in cement. Dreams in concrete, frozen in place. Built on hope and a long distance faith. House still waiting but time move on. Who coming home when the dream is gone? Dreams in concrete, standing still. Written in rebar on Jamaican hills. If a house got no heartbeat inside, is it shelter or a place we cry? Long time ago them draw the line. Land for power, none for mine. Plantation shadows still mark the ground. Even freedom had rules wrapped around. Family land, everybody share. Grandma name but nobody chair. Law said paper, bank said no. So the dream moves slow, lick by lick flow. Dead left land, stuck in between. No one can sell, no one intervene. House I've built will never grow. Caught in a system too cold to know, yeah. I know the family name by heart, but law don't hear when the elders talk. So the dream take the hardest road, piece by piece, heavy load, hey. Dreams in concrete, frozen in place. Built on hope and a long distance faith. I was still waiting but time move on. Who coming home when the dream is gone? Dreams in concrete, standing still. Written in rebar on Jamaican hills. If a house got no heartbeat inside, is it shelter or a place we cry? London cold, Toronto night. Work 2 jobs just to send it right. Foundation 1 year, wall next time. Roof come later, hope on credit line. Build a promise, build a goner. Money vanish before the dawn. Cousins show up, claim a right. Court stop work, style the fight. Children grow where them born and raised. Different jailer. It was history meeting reality with no safety net. Some houses left for darker fear. Gunshot echo too close, too near. Return home, them see soft skin. Decades of work end within light post gone. Roads stay dark, night know every moving marker. Farm get raw down, call them gone. Morning come, whole life done. So they get locked tight or the key get lost. Some dreams too heavy for the cost. Lay dreams in concrete, still standing strong. Even abandoned, the story long. Every wall got a sacrifice name. Every crack remember pain. Lay dreams in concrete, don't laugh them down. Them built a nation, piece by ground. If we fix the land, fix the fear, one day the people will come back here. House no empty, it full of memory. Every brick remember the dream. It still waits Jamaica.